Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and I'd like to invite Trustee Nelson to do the land acknowledgement, land and water, please.
Thank you. We acknowledge that we are on land and surrounded by water, originally inhabited by indigenous peoples who have traveled this area since time immemorial. The territory is within the lands honored by the Wampum Treaties, agreements between the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, Lenni Lenape, and allied nations to peacefully share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Specifically, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the three Confederacy Confederacy, the Ojibwe, Ottawa, Potawatomi, and Huron-Wendat peoples. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture while remaining committed to moving forward respectfully with all First Nations, Innu, and Métis.
Thank you very much. With regard to attendance, I think we're trying to hook up with Trustee Armstrong, who is ill and is going to be attending electronically. Have we connected yet? Or she's still trying? Okay. There are no special orders of the day. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Trustee Buckler, Trustee Burgess. Questions on the agenda? Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As part of P1, the report from OPSPA, there was something shared in camera at the last Board of Directors meeting that I will need to report in the in-camera session. So at G, I will have one item of labor relations.
Thank you.
Participants are waiting in the lobby. To admit all participants in the lobby, press *21.
Okay. All right. Do we have any declarations?
Nancy Armstrong is now joining.
Okay. Welcome, Trustee Armstrong.
Hello.
Hello. Do we have any declarations of conflict of interest for this meeting? Seeing none. We do need a motion to convene into private session. We have a property matter, a personnel matter, and a labor relations update from OPSPA. Trustee McCowie and Trustee Leclerc, all those in support? That's carried. Thank you very much. This should be very short, maybe 10-15 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, Nancy, you're gonna.
You have
We're back in
chosen to
session
call.
for our public meeting, and we have Trustee Armstrong on the phone.
Nancy Armstrong is now joining.
Thank you. We're on item H of our agenda, our rise and report from the Committee of the Whole. Trustee Buckler?
Yes, I'd like to move item H, a property issue.
Do we have a seconder? Trustee Cook? All those in support? That's carried. Thank you. Approval of the minutes from the meeting February 18th. Do I have someone to move? Trustee Leclerc, Trustee Buckler? Any questions from those minutes? All those in support? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Student trustee report for tonight. I'm going to begin. Okay.
Good evening, trustees, Director Houston, senior administration, and members of the public. This month, our Student Senate meeting was held at Tecumseh Vista Academy. We started with a presentation by Danielle Finlay and Michelle Legere from Vaughan, who support the Ontario Student Nutrition Program. The OSNP operates 14 regional agencies to support the development and implementation of student nutrition programs in schools as a foundation for student success. Student Senate is very excited to partner with OSNP to deliver one-time funding for nutrition program at Colchester North Public School. Student Senate has established a committee to promote the benefits of a student nutrition program and to encourage the program's sustainability beyond the school year. Thank you to Danielle Finlay and Michelle Legere for your undivided support. As spring approaches, schools are in the process of hosting coffee houses, student first teacher basketball and volleyball games, spring pep rallies, arts night, and more. Additionally, congratulations to our school teams that have participated in OFSVA, swimming, and volleyball. I am pleased to announce that Oliver James LePage from Walkerville Collegiate Institution is our Senator of the Month. Oliver is a dedicated senator who devotes several hours a month to Student Senate. He attentively listens and creates meeting minutes as our recording secretary. Oliver stated, "Senate strives to improve the student experience, and I am honored to be a part of it." You can read Oliver's full remarks on our Instagram page at GECDSB Student Senate. Student Senate's Mental Health Committee is launching an Instagram page with its key pillars and Meet the Team post. You can find their Instagram at GECDSB_cares. At the end of February, we held our student trustee elections for the 2025-26 school year. Congratulations to Ruby Rivington, grade 11 student at Walkerville Collegiate Institution, and Cole Foster, grade 10 student at Essex District High School. Tianu and I look forward to mentoring you this year, and we are excited to see what plans you have for the next year. Thank you to Michelle Marcuse for organizing the election, and a special thank you to all the candidates, voting delegates, and scrutineers who supported the election.
Thank you very much. Yep. And there's part 2.
The student of the month for March is Caitlin McCourt. A grade 9 student at Riverside Secondary School, Caitlin is a remarkable example of this month's theme of innovation. Caitlin is a driving force behind the Save IB initiative. She took an innovative approach in student advocacy by organizing walkouts and meetings and represented student voice in media interviews. As a coordinator of social media, Caitlin used innovative posts to raise awareness and rally support, leading to an incredible 1,315 signatures on a petition. She even spoke at a town hall meeting advocating for innovative transportation solutions for students residing outside of Riverside's boundary. Caitlin's innovative efforts demonstrate her unwavering commitment to ensuring that Riverside remains a hub for academic excellence. Beyond her advocacy work, Caitlin is a dedicated athlete and a Hive community member. She is a member of the junior girls basketball team and junior girls basketball team. Caitlin further supports school athletics at the Hive through the Riverside Athletic Association, where she contributes to pep rallies, advertises school sporting events, and volunteers after school. She is also actively involved in Riverside's Women's Empowerment Group, helping organize innovative events like the Slumber Party while working on a ticket sales and promotion. Caitlin's innovative ideas and social media posts make Riverside school events engaging and entertaining. Caitlin's passion for community service is strong. She's volunteered at the Living Without Limitations Stroke and Brain Injury Camp since the age of 7. She uses innovative and creative approaches to helping individuals regain confidence in activities like biking, swimming, and arts and crafts. Additionally, she volunteers at her mother's workplace, the Rehabilitation Institution of Michigan, where she assists with organizational tasks and designs innovative bulletin boards, including one recently honoring Black medical professionals. Caitlin is proof that innovation isn't just about new ideas, it's about actioning new ideas to create engagement and advocacy for a better future. Congratulations, Caitlin, for being selected by Student Senate as the March Student of the Month for the theme of innovation.
All the way up. Don't be afraid. No, when you unrope it, it's for you.
Congratulations, Caitlin, from all the trustees. Well done. And you don't have to stay for the whole meeting if you don't want to. You may be excused. Yeah. And thank you for coming. The next item is the chair's report. It's very brief. I just wanted to announce that the director and I will be presenting at the OPSPA Labor Relations and Human Resources Symposium. We've been asked to speak about developing, implementing, sustaining, and monitoring the board's strategic plan so that all staff see themselves in it. I'll be obviously speaking about the role of the chair and the trustees in their governance role in comparison to the role of the director of education, who's responsible for operations, and how all must work together in alignment with the strategic priorities of our board. So I just wanted you to be aware that we're going to do that, and I'm very honored that our board was asked to present as a successful model of caring about our staff and maintaining our strategic plan. That's the extent of my report. Next, we have the director's report.
Somebody who's really tall was before me. So, welcome back. I hope everybody had a refreshing March break and enjoyed the beautiful weather that we were really lucky to have last week that continued into this week. Especially grateful that daylight savings time happened right before the break. If you've ever been in schools when that happens, you know that we are very grateful that it happened before the break, and then it gave staff and students a chance to adjust before coming back to school ready to spring forward. Over the past month, we've had some incredible moments across our system that speak to the strength of our students, our staff, our families, and our community partners. On March the 6th, Tecumseh Vista Academy Elementary hosted a vibrant multicultural celebration organized by the School Advisory Council and a dedicated team of staff. The special event brought together music, art, traditional attire, and student-led performances to celebrate the rich cultural diversity of the school, and families contributed beautiful displays and cultural items. And attendees had a chance to win gift cards for their participation. It was a heartwarming reminder of the joy that comes from learning about each other and building a stronger and more inclusive school community. On the same day, Gore Hill Public School proudly participated in the Great Big Crunch, an Ontario Student Nutrition Program initiative celebrating healthy eating in schools. The event was full of community spirit and featuring special guests from the Ontario Student Nutrition Program, the Leamington Mayor Hilda McDonald, the Leamington Flyers hockey players were there, as well as myself, and a school-wide apple crunch marked the highlight of the day, symbolizing healthy habits and collective action. And Gore Hill was also recognized on that day with a special award for their exceptional nutrition program that they have there. Congratulations to that entire school team. A.V. Graham Public School recently hosted a truly inspiring readathon that brought together the staff, the students, and the broader community. They raised $11,000 on that day, and the event featured a fantastic lineup of guest speakers, including the firefighters, ballerina, news anchors, the beloved mascots like the Bomber and Sparky the fire dog, and I was honored to return for a second year to join in the celebration of literacy and witness the enthusiasm of the students firsthand. A heartfelt thank you to the dedicated school council for their outstanding efforts in planning and executing such a meaningful and successful event. In Leamington, the Leamington District Secondary School MAPS team showed their spirit by diving into Windsor-Essex Polar Plunge to support the Special Olympics Ontario. You can see from the pictures, my guess is they probably wish it was the weather we're having now instead of the weather they were having the day that they actually did that. And it's to support Special Olympics Ontario, and their bravery raised over $2,000 and exemplified the kind of community leadership and enthusiasm that we're so proud of. We also celebrated our students' exceptional talents at the Get Skills competition at St. Clair College. We had 31 students from Greater Essex that were represented and showcased their technical experience in areas like automotive service, baking, carpentry, precision machining, and hairstyling, and they brought home 10 medals. Each participant earned recognition and an opportunity for scholarship support towards their post-secondary goals, and congratulations to everyone, and many of them will move on to Skills Ontario. And as always, the highlights serve as a reminder of our compassion and our commitment and excellence that define the Greater Essex community. Continue to celebrate one another and the meaningful work that we do together to uplift, support, and inspire every learner. As we move through the month, let's take time to recognize and participate in the meaningful days ahead. And this week, we celebrate the International Day of Happiness, and I hope that everybody engages in that. Sometimes there's not enough of that happening, and we need more of that. And that we embrace the joy of wearing mismatched socks to raise awareness and show support to World Down Syndrome Day. And I shared last month that I don't like wearing socks, but I will wear socks on that day. And that's all I have, if there's any questions.
Thank you, Madam Director. Any questions on the report? You saved yourself before I was going to ask about whether you were going to participate in the socks.
I will. And I'll even make sure there's pictures.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. Thank you. Item M, staff reports. There's nothing for this meeting. Nothing under new business. Reports from our standing committees. First one is Policy and Bylaw Committee from March 4th, and there are 3 recommendations. I need someone to put them on the floor. Trustee Buckler, supported by Trustee Cook. All three? Okay. Are there any questions on, okay, Trustee Burgess? Pages 8 to 37 in your package.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. It's in the enforcement procedures of trustee code of conduct. It was something that we didn't discuss, and I had it flagged, but I didn't bring it forward at policy committee. Item new number 37.
What page in the board package?
17 in our package. Page 5 of 19 in the regulation. It's under the heading Chair Presiding Officer. And it talks about what happens who are the alternates basically if there's an allegation and the chair and or the vice chair are involved, and who it goes to next as far as taking over the procedure. And it talks about down in the first paragraph, these alternate trustee members shall be comprised of the chairs of the standing committees. First alternate being the chair of the Learning, Equity, and Wellbeing Committee, comma, second alternate being the chair of the Finance and Facility Services Committee. And my question that I didn't flag was, we have 3 standing committees now. So do we add a third being the chair of the Policy and Governance Committee, or whatever it's called. Change the
You're
name.
making it a-
Policy and Bylaw Standing Committee. I'll suggest an amendment to add the words "and" after the words Finance and Facility Services Committee, comma, third alternate being the chair of the Policy and Bylaw Standing Committee.
You're moving that amendment. Do we have support for the amendment? Trustee Nelson? Any discussion on the amendment? I'll just say that it rarely comes
Yeah.
into play. So whether you have 2 or 3 or 6, it's just a safeguard that we have someone in place. All those in support of the amendment? Any opposed?
I support.
Thank you. That's carried. Anything else with regard to 1, 2, or 3?
Chair Hatfield, can you hear me? It's
Mm,
Trustee Armstrong.
I can't hear you very well, but your question?
I'll speak louder. Can you hear me now?
Better.
Okay. On page 16, upholding decisions, number 29, it says the trustee should be able to explain the rationale for a resolution passed by the Board of Trustees. Can we add something there about receiving information about the rationale? Because if you are a brand new trustee, you have no idea what went on before, and therefore, how can you explain? So could we finish that sentence after a trustee should be able to explain the rationale following receipt of all information or documentation used in the development of the resolution? Because if that is made available, then you can make an informed choice. But otherwise, you don't know what you are trying to explain. It's like you've been given the conclusion to a science experiment without the details before that, but you have to explain the experiment. So have I made my point clear? I hope you can hear me okay.
I can hear you, and I'll just make a quick response, is that in terms of upholding the decision, a trustee doesn't need to provide all the background, all the debate that went on. They don't need to provide it to that extent. Basically, the rationale is that the board made a majority decision, is what the trustee is expected to be able to answer on that. But I'll go to now Trustee Burgess and then Trustee Leclerc.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I didn't hear a real amendment, so I don't think there's an amendment on that, but if I could just speak to that notion. Looking at number 29, a trustee should be able to explain the rationale for a resolution passed by the Board of Trustees. This is after a discussion and a decision has been made. Because of the timelines in here, and you cannot bring forward an allegation of a breach in a code of conduct, I think it's 6 weeks before an election, for example, there would be nothing that would be outstanding going into another board term that would be left over in order to necessarily make a decision and or not have the background. If there was a decision and it passed over, it'd be highly unusual, but that new person, they may be all new person, they would have to be informed in order to make an informed decision on it. There are sometimes matters of private, so I don't support the notion of adding anything more to this, because I believe that a trustee should be able to explain the rationale for a resolution passed by the Board of Trustees if they're active in the process of actually being there for the resolution.
Trustee Leclerc?
Well, Trustee Burgess took away one of my points, and I concur with, through you, Madam Chair, with what Trustee Burgess just said. But I would also indicate that if the trustee is uncomfortable in their ability to express a decision, they always have the option to defer to the chair of the board, who is the spokesperson for the board. So I don't think it's necessary.
Thank you. And I think that's another relevant point, that it depends on who's expecting the trustee to provide some rationale. If it's the media, for example, it should be through the chair. But I don't think the intent of this particular point 29 is that any trustee at any given time needs to know the rationale of a decision that took place perhaps over a period of time, or perhaps when the trustee wasn't there. Basically, the rationale is that a majority of the trustees found that item in order and the motion was passed. But anything that goes beyond any simple level of explanation, the trustee, if they don't feel that they have adequate information, could always reach out to the chair of the board.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And Trustee Burgess, for the second time.
Yeah, just supplemental, that section arises not only from the OPSPA template, but from the Education Act, that every trustee is obligated to uphold the decision of the board. So it's in
That's
law,
correct.
not just in this
Yeah,
particular
it's not something that our
regulation.
board is requiring.
It's an explanation of
Yeah.
an instance when that
Yeah.
law comes into effect.
Yeah, it is covered in the Education Act. Okay, thank you. Any other questions on 1, 2, or 3 before I call the vote? Seeing none. All those in support of the recommendations from the Policy and Bylaw Committee with regard to those 3 items? All those in support? Any opposed? None, that's carried. Thank you very much. We have nothing tonight from the other 2 standing committees or from the Audit Committee. Down to B, the Special Education Advisory Committee. There are the minutes of their December 11th meeting for information purposes. Are there any questions on that? On those minutes? Oh, seeing none. GECPIC, we have minutes from November 26th meeting. Do you have any questions on that? This is part of our new bylaws as a means of keeping trustees better informed on what happens at our committee meetings where we're not all there. And it's meant to improve accountability, transparency, and the knowledge of the trustees sitting at this table. So I hope that you find the information helpful. We have no advisory committees at this time, no ad hoc trustee committees. And moving to item P, this would be a report from OPSPA from Trustee Burgess.
We'll just keep it short because there are things that you can access as an OPSPA member, but I was pleased to attend the Board of Directors meeting on Saturday, February 22nd, and Sunday, February 23rd, and we convened about a lot of things. This is right before the election, so you can imagine a lot of the talk was political and position and who we were advocating on all kinds of issues that related to provincial and in some cases federal, certainly Indigenous education, et cetera, too. So with some plans in place coming forward for an election time. We did have a presentation by Polytalks Resources, which is, we know them as civics, and sometimes I know we've used student vote, and an encouragement for us as a board to look for those teacher leaders that want to take on that kind of thing. We didn't have much of an opportunity for a provincial election, but with the federal election coming forward, it's a great opportunity for kids to learn about civics education during elementary and secondary years. We got some updates from all the different boards, as I said, and there will be another meeting coming in April, a joint policy and education program meeting in May. We are looking for resolutions or constitutional changes. If anybody is interested in something that affects the entire province in an advocacy way for us to change as an organization, to prioritize something, I ask you to think about that, and we can put a resolution together for April if we get it in time before as a board resolution. And also to look at the awards that are on offer right now through OPSPA. If you know a teacher, a trustee, active, retired, somebody who's exemplary, it's a nice opportunity for the provincial organization to award them at our annual general meeting and the public education symposium. So I leave that with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of the report? Seeing none, we don't have any trustee motions or notices of motion for this meeting. We're at item S, announcements. Any trustee Chin, you have an announcement?
A picture to Melissa. Could you put it on the film? Is regarding a donor, blood donor. Is that okay? Yeah, I sent you a email just now. Yeah. I didn't. I thought we would have started at 7. I didn't know that I didn't have time to talk with her.
You have a question? What's your question?
No, not question.
I mean announcement, sorry.
Yeah, I have an announcement, and can I have this picture on the film? It's about a blood donor, you know.
What?
You didn't get it?
What's your announcement, trustee Chin?
Oh.
What's your announcement, trustee Chin? Or is it something you can send us by email?
I have an announcement. For those who may be interested, I would like to take the opportunity to announce a blood drive event this Saturday at the Sierra Club from 10 to 2. The clinic is being held in honor of Andrew Gatto, who passed away at the age of 15 from cancer. And Andrew was first diagnosed with cancer in February of 2014. He had 2 relapses, and each time he battled, he needed many blood transfusions as well as platelets. Andrew passed away December 6, 2018. His very last transfusion gave his family another day to spend with him. We appreciate Andrew's family for organizing such an honorable and meaningful event to help save others. Andrew would have turned 22 today. Let's wish him a happy birthday in heaven. Andrew will always be in our memory. It is wise to book ahead as slots do fill up. Go to blood.ca to register, and please remember to tell them that you are for the Andrew's blood donation event. And thank you very much.
Thank you, trustee Chin. Anyone else have an announcement for this meeting? No. Seeing none, then at 6:55. Has that clock been moved ahead?
6:56.
6:56. I'll declare the meeting adjourned as we've reached the end of our approved agenda. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time this evening.